In this finished version here, we can see if we scroll down from the latest Spa Offers section, we have a small About Us section just below. This About Us section is pretty basic and probably something you could complete on your own if you feel confident doing so. It simply contains our header of About Us, an image which we've used previously, along with a row of lorem ipsum text. This is placed in our index page just below the latest offers section we just created. So let's go over to our index.html. Let's create a comment. And this is the About Us section. And we'll also do the same just above as well in the last section. So this is for the latest offers. This will just help us later when scrolling up and down. So onto the About Us section, this will become fairly familiar now. We have a surrounding div with the class. I'm going to again use the container fluid so it spans the full width of the page. I'm also going to add a value of padding on the top and bottom of 5. Position the text to be in the center and also add a background color of light. This will offset the value from the dark, which is just above. Inside of this div, we're going to add a familiar row. To keep things consistent, we're going to structure the title in the same way as the last two sections. We do this with a div. This is going to have a value of col sm6, so it's half the width of the page. And then offset this with a value of 3 to push this into the middle. A level 3 title, which is going to be About Us. The image. So the source is going to be in the images folder. And remember, there's two different ones here. Since we're using the lighter background color, we're going to use the divider-purple. Alt text of divider is fine. And then the same class that we've used before to give it a width of 25%. Let's check this out. Give that a save. And there's our title and the image. Next up, we just need to create a new row just below for the sample text. So back over, we have the closing columns and the closing row. Let's add some space. Again, making sure this is inside of the surrounding container. A div with a class of row. Place this onto a new line. And we'll also add some margin on the top to separate this from the title with empty and a value of 2. Each row needs to have a div nested inside. And I'm going to do something a little bit different this time and just set this to be col. If we just set this to be col rather than a value, each time we add a new col, it will take up an equal amount of space. So if we only have this one div, it will be the full 12 columns. If we had 3 divs side by side, all with the same class of col, each one would take up an equal third of the page. Let's add our sample text inside with the p elements and a class of text center. So there's a couple of different ways of doing this. If you're using Visual Studio Code, you can type in the lorem shortcut, hit tab, and then we get some sample text placed in for us. If not, you can go over to the browser and go over to lipsum.com. And this will give us some sample text, which we can generate down at the bottom. And then copy and paste this into the project. Once this is done, give that a save. And we can check this out in the browser. And we'll see our text. In fact, I'm going to generate some more. Instead of doing that, we can add more by typing in lorem and then a star, generate 5 paragraphs, hit tab. And that's all we need to do. And this is the About Us section now completed. It was pretty straightforward, but it gives us a little extra practice using Bootstrap.